Welcome to this week's podcast of Kickin' It With Kidneys with your host, Cindy Barclay. Hey, Cindy, take it away.
And hello and welcome back to Kickin' It With Kidneys, a forum to discuss important topics for suppressed voices within the minority communities. Throughout this first season of Kickin' It With Kidneys, we have worked very hard to present what we felt was most important to patients and their families. We've discussed a wide range of topics such as vaccine hesitancy, sexuality and intimacy, finance planning, communicating with your providers, and understanding the diagnosis and treatment of chronic kidney disease. Today, we will continue to support the community by sharing practical information aimed to educate and motivate our audience to live their very best lives. Our KIWK team is back. We have BJ Simone, Maria Jimenez, Marion Wilson, Rita Wilson, Rita Williams, Sarita Scarborough, and we have a special guest joining us today. So BJ, what is the word on the street?
Hello. Well, like you said, Cindy, we've got a special one today. So let's take a listen.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Mary Washington. I am a nephrologist, board certified in the state of Texas. I'm talking to you to explain to you why I'm doing these videos, why I have so much of a movement behind me in this campaign that I am labeling the RapperMD campaign.
I'm going to talk to you this evening about your blood pressure. This is an example of a kidney. It's actually about the size, say, of a Mongol or a grown man's fist.
A RapperMD campaign to help prevent kidney disease.
There's 5 important things that the kidney must do. There's 5 stages of kidney disease. The 5th one, I'll dialyze you.
I have been practicing nephrology for the past 20 years. My patients wish they had had a doctor like me who give it to them straight. I've heard this said to me over and over again.
I put this light up here so that you guys know that the majority of my patients on dialysis are Mexican American and African American.
Eat with variety, eat with color, drink 2 cups of water.
I cannot just walk in with my cameraman to show you what's going on in the dialysis unit. I cannot just take with my cameraman to walk into the hospital to show you the amputations of hands and fingers and genital parts. I wish I could, because then you'll see what I see. I've always said, you don't see death every day like I do. And this is the only way that I can get to you in order for you to make a change in your life, because a healthy diet is a healthy body. So subscribe to this YouTube channel and you'll learn more than you would ever imagine.
Well, all right. Dr. Mary Washington, aka RapperMD, is a 20-year veteran in the field of nephrology. She's a proud graduate of the University of Wisconsin Medical School and completed her fellowship at Tulane University in New Orleans. She's passionate about the work that needs to be done in the communities of color and is candid about her determination to slow down the destructive impact of obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and of course, chronic kidney disease. She resides in Houston, Texas, the second most diverse state in the U.S., and is unyielding in her commitment to bring about awareness to millions through education and diet. I have had the opportunity to work with Dr. Washington for the past 15 years. So without further ado, let's welcome RapperMD.
Hey, how y'all doing?
All right.
That's good. I saw that nice little video there, because you don't see death every day like I do.
No, you don't. No, we don't. Okay. So what you gonna do for us today? Are we gonna get a rap or a poem? What are we starting off with?
We starting off with let's see. Let me think something. You don't see death every day. I'm gonna start off something with you that my dad says. Okay. How about this? Right. It was very short because he always liked boxing. So he would say, life is like boxing. You need to stay fit. just like boxing, you got to be able to take a hit from those hooks and uppercuts from life's experiences that you may or may not see. You need to stay quick on your toes when you're in life's ring. So guess what? Those words are from the original rapper, my daddy, RapperMD.
All right. I love it. I love it. I love it. We are so excited about having you on our show today. Now, let me ask you a question. What do you feel as a medical doctor is the biggest obstacle to communities of color achieving health equity?
I think I think about that a lot. And over the years, my answer has changed. Okay. Initially, I thought it was the socioeconomic situation. Then I thought at one time, maybe it was genetics from, a certain group of us being stolen from the continent over. And as I grow and mature, the biggest obstacle is ourselves depending on somebody else to do something that we should be doing ourselves.
Exactly.
You want me to explain with that? You understand what I mean?
No. Explain it.
We are dependent. We are dependent on a system. We all know it's broken. We knew that a long time ago.
Yes.
We depended on somebody else to do something for us when we can go out there and do it ourselves. We can go out there, for example, a gym. We don't need a big fancy gym. We didn't have a gym growing up. Move some stuff out the way and hit there and do some calisthenics, do some running in place, do some jumping jacks. There's no excuse for not getting physically in shape.
I like that. All right.
That's just one example. So,
okay. All right. Maria.
But,
hi, Dr. Washington.
Hola, Maria.
Thanks for joining us today. I'm happy that you became a part of the KIWK crew with us today. So we're very happy to have you. But my question for you is, what are some of the reversible diseases or risk factors that minorities can change or control through modified diet? And second part, what would you recommend to people who aren't ready to strictly go plant-based?
The diseases that are modifiable of a diet was easy to see as I started practicing in Houston. The majority of the patients who I saw in my office with chronic kidney disease, and the disease continued to progress and get worse and worse and worse until they needed dialysis, they had two things or maybe three things in common. They were diabetic, they were obese, some of them had high blood pressure and a high cholesterol, all damaging those arteries. Whether it's the arteries to the brain, who's a neurologist, arteries to the heart, talk about MI, cardiologist, but I'm a nephrologist, so blocked arteries in the kidneys end up on a dialysis machine. There's no flow. So if those are the diseases that are causing destruction of the kidneys, then you just do a logical deduction back. Well, then we need to attack these diseases, right? Now in Houston, everything is big, right? Your plate size is big. Your portion size is big.
Hey, you got some big, that's right, big people. Big people.
People are big. And remember, I trained in New Orleans, okay? Coming from the north down to the south, where it's hot as I don't know what. I couldn't figure out why people were big. Eating was the last thing I wanted to do. It was too hot. But as I acclimatized, realized it is too hot. People stay indoors. That's it. We're on the telephone, on these computers and stuff like that. So you need to get out and move around, even if it's in the evening. Train the diseases. So the diseases that are preventable, the diabetes is preventable. Because the majority of the type 2 diabetes, because it's type 1, type 1.5, type 2, and gestational diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is preventable because in this country, it's mostly linked with obesity and our bad diet. We'll go into more. High blood pressure, mostly in this country, primary high blood pressure, not secondary, is preventable because, again, you see that it's linked to the diet. Specifically, even sodium. If you just drop your sodium by 1 gram, you can lower your blood pressure by 11 to 20 points. I mean, come on.
Wow.
1 gram, 1 teaspoon, less.
Yeah.
And then we talk about the obesity and cholesterol, all that goes with the diet. So to me, it's a common sense. All those years, putting the people on dialysis, they all had the same thing. I saw what they ate because they talked about it. They tried to feed me. Okay. I have, so it's there. And the last question, for those people who don't want to go plant-based, I have a dialysis chair for you.
Uh-oh.
Got to make it. It's like a show. You got to make. You know, you got to make reservations. You know, you got to call and make reservations to get into dialysis unit. It's a popular place, I guess. You all need to go. You got to make a reservation.
All right, Rita, what you say?
Okay. Bienvenida, doctora. ¿Cómo está?
Un placer.
Gracias. So my question is, because food is such an important feature in many cultures of color, for example, family gatherings, church, social functions, un bautizo, cualquier cosa que nos juntamos, comida. So, you know, we love food. How can ethnic minorities eat healthy and still prepare traditional foods?
Well, you know, we at the RapperMD clinic, we love to eat.
Yeah.
We talk about eating all the time and recipes. So I'll just give you an example. Your culture, I remember, like they have,
arroz con pollo, enchiladas.
Well, I know enchiladas. I don't know about arroz con pollo.
Let's go with enchiladas.
Okay, so you do your enchiladas, and you have your whole wheat tortilla.
Okay.
As opposed to your or if you want to do maíz tortilla, you do organic maíz tortilla because
corn tortillas.
Corn tortillas, because it's going to be less pesticides on the tortilla, and instead of what you call those fajitas meat, you can cut up the mushrooms to make them look like the same size as the fajita. You could, I don't know if you guys like tofu or not, which is just a garbanzo bean or soybean.
Pero we can adjust.
Okay, pero definitivamente the hongo, the mushroom, portobello mushroom, you can cut it up to
they
make
are
it
good. They're good.
Okay, just the fajita, same size. Get your poblano, que otras spices que se usa? La cilantro,
el
la cebolla,
tomate, tomato.
And then when you saute these, don't use no oil. No, that's the key. No aceite. Yeah, no aceite. See? Puro agua. So you saute those onions, now you got to be by the stove now, have you some good water there because you don't want it to burn. See, the problem when we use oil is that we turn it up high and fast, right?
Right.
Boom, there goes all your nutrientes.
Well, it sounds delicious. I'll have to try that myself.
It's good. So the point is, it's your same spices. I'm not changing your cultura.
Okay. So el comida, all that stuff está bien.
Just the only substitution is, instead of the comida, se usa una vegetable, the portobello mushroom.
Well, we're going to have to try it.
It's deliciosa. And you can use nopales. You guys know nopales is cactus. Cactus has the same consistency when you saute it like okra.
Wait a minute, that don't sound good, Dr. Watson.
No, it is. No, Miss Barkley, it is really good.
It does. If
you can make it with eggs.
Okay.
Or in our situation with Aki. How about Aki, Island Woman?
Oh, yes, baby.
Yes. So instead of using the chicken eggs, which is a whole different story, we got to go to where this chicken's coming from. So we can use Aki. Aki looks like egg to me.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So just for me, when I did the nopales for the first time, Rita, I didn't use it. I use it as a side dish because
it's good.
Because after I saute again, I put my garlic in the top stove, the garlic, the onion. When I say onions, I use two different. I'm greedy. I don't just use one species of something. You gotta have variety.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of spice and stuff because we love a lot of spices in our food.
And stuff. So you do a sweet onion or a purple onion or those chives. I mean, some different. Different. Saute that up, and then I cut up the nopales. The nopales were already prepared. The spice.
You can buy them at Walmart.
And I'm doing my while I'm sauteing it, smelling good.
Well, all of that is for us. So I do have another question.
Yes.
Do you have a culturally specific treatment plan for Latino patients prior to being diagnosed with ESRD?
I guess that's pre-renal.
Pre-renal.
No, the treatment plan is actually it's the same plan in terms of really focusing on what they're eating.
Okay.
So whether they're
making those changes
whether
there.
they're from Cubana, whether they're from Mexico, whether they're from New Orleans, whether they're from the Philippines, these are the type of patients I've had.
Oh, good, good.
I've always had, so it was also a learning experience. I can tell you, I had Vietnamese patients. Okay, and I have not had a lot of experience with Vietnamese patients, but in part of doing the change is that you listen to what they prepare, and more importantly, how they prepare it. So, in a nutshell, how do we get people to cook? They're saying, I'm not taking away your culture or your religion,
right,
or your ethnic groove, but think about it. 5 generations ago, your people didn't cook the way you're cooking now.
Right.
Nor did they had better quality of food than you do now. Ajá.
Yeah. Yeah.
No hay diferencia.
Bueno, muchas gracias, doctora, por tus respuestas.
No problema. Y ya yo tengo hambre.
Yo también ya, doctora. Okay. We're both hungry now.
Okay. All right. So let's see, Sarita.
Hey, Dr. Washington.
Hello,
it's good
Sarita.
to see you. Thank you for taking my question today. My question is, the cost of food has increased 4 to 5% since the pandemic, but wages have not increased at the same rate. So how do you address the imbalance with patients while promoting healthier food choices?
Well, I remember you saying on one of your episodes, even though you were growing up and people had very small amount of land, they still managed to make a garden. So, and last thing I learned, the cost of food may be going up, but if I remember my research correctly, that was the cost of meats and meats and canned goods. That was not the cost of food from the farmer's market or produce. Okay. Or am I incorrect?
Specialty places, because I know I bought some ketchup the other day and I was surprised how much ketchup costs now. But I think everybody's perpetrating the prices now. I think because we're a capitalistic society, I think everybody's inflating everything, you know?
So the prices that I saw were, again, in condiments, things that are packaged, or animal products, animal meats. But I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about stuff that you can grow with your own garden, your spices. Most people can grow spice. Some of my patients grow spices on their window ledge. Okay, it doesn't take much room. And I'm not talking about grow 500 spices. Just pick 3. You know, your thyme, your basil, or something else. And most of the time you can get your seeds from your neighbors. I mean, there's somebody. I hope there's somebody in your neighborhood, but have a garden. But the answer to the question is, take power back in your own hands. Start growing some of your own spices. You got these plants that you grow tomatoes indoors. You have a vine upside down, go ahead, invest in that. That's not, and over the long run, over 2 or 3 months from now, that's not going to cost a lot. So invest in yourself right now. I went to, I forgot where I was at. This place had a, I don't know what you call those. It was medium. You know, when you go to a business establishment and then you have the entrance of the building, you have the sidewalk, and then you have that little median area before you get into the street, right?
The atrium. The atrium.
It's called the atrium, the street. I'm talking about the concrete street part.
Oh, okay? The median. The median.
It's called the median, right? Okay. In front of this particular place, this median, guess what? They set up a garden. They had the wire fence around there. I recognized tomato vines, and that was about all I got. I think some cucumbers. So there's the median that you're written out a space there. Is there no right for you to plant something there? Is there a law that you can't plant something there? Is that against your contract?
I don't know, but let me ask you something very important.
Yes, ma'am.
The palate itself.
Yes.
I know you're teaching. I grew up with the Adventist community, so there was a lot of vegetarianism and veganism. But what you're teaching is healthier, a whole lifestyle change. What about the palate of those patients? What do you recommend for those that want to do a short term? In other words, it's not easy for people to go from 100 to 0 or from 0 to 100. So what do you recommend in the interim? Is there any type of meats that you can kind of wean yourself to that plant-based diet? What would you recommend that patients do?
I don't believe in fake nothing. I'm for real.
Right.
So there's no fake stuff, because there's there's people that want to say that they're whole plant based, and then they're vegan, and they're junk food vegan. So let me take this question 3 ways. Number one, let's make sure that we know what whole plant is. I'm talking about whole plant food.
Okay, can you explain that?
Something that comes from a ground, a tree. Okay, it's a plant. Actually, a fruit is a plant, right? The tree makes flowers, and then from the flower comes the fruit or the vegetable. So we talked about plants. Nothing that runs, crawls, swims, jump. Okay, and then number 2, as far as the palate, you know, eating and flavor is something that is taught. That's why Sarita's point about getting the kids when they're young is important. Children come out, you know, they get their boost of all the bacteria when they come through the birth canal. They get the breast milk from wherever the mother's eating, and the mother's eating what? Hopefully not golden arches, but when you have an infant, you're getting all the vegetables. So my niece made an interesting point when she was pregnant with her child. Why is it that we all know to eat healthy foods, vegetables, and everything when we're pregnant, growing a new fetus inside, and then as soon as the fetus is born, then we go back to all of our unhealthy habits?
Okay.
So with that third part of that question is, I think you said, is there a halfway? So I don't believe in junk food. I don't want you to be a junk food vegan. You know, these substitute meat patties, these substitute chicken patties. I mean, there's no substitution. I mean, and that becomes a process in itself, how they making that. That's a whole nother topic. Okay. So what I do is deal with the spices. Think about it. The meat has no flavor. It's dead. It's blood. Remember, I'm a daughter of a butcher.
Okay.
So when my father would bring that bone home for my dog, who got all excited because he smelled the blood. Okay. When you guys, a lot of people have not even been to a butcher shop anymore. They want everything all nice and packaged and had a little dye in it and looking red. They don't even know what real food is. So fish, when it's dead, animals, when they cut up, they don't have a flavor. You added the flavor by all your spices. So that's why I focus on your herbs and your spices. That's where the flavor comes from. And then after that, it's just about the texture. Some people like portobello. Some people, I love burgers, but some people don't like the texture of the mushroom for the burger. They like something else. Or if you want milk, some people want milk because they didn't have milk with their cereal. I just say, well, just take the cashew nuts and soak it and then put it in the blender. It turns to milk. Or macadamia nuts. It doesn't have to be a cow milk. I'm not a cow. Are you?
No, but all of this stuff you're talking about sound a little expensive.
And time consuming.
Okay. Time consuming? Well, I tell you what, you make room for things that are important to you, don't you?
Well, all right. So you trying to tell me if I don't do something quick, I'm gonna check out of here.
You can put diesel fuel in your car, but I was about to say something bad, but you put
no, talk, baby. You can be yourself on this show. Whatever you got to say it.
My patients want to know why they feel it like. My patients want to know why they feel like shit. You keep eating animal. No, my patients want to know why they feel sick all the time. So I used to say, you want to know why you're feeling sick? Because you keep eating animals that eat shit.
Okay.
I mean, you know, animals that eat caca. I mean, the pig. Catfish. The shrimp. I mean, don't look at me. I mean, I'm not the judge. Your labs are your judge, your jury, and rendering you your verdict. Well, I am not judging you.
Right.
You need to eat. We all need to eat. So the people who have a hard time with the palate is trained. You are trained to taste that. When you were little, you were trained to eat those Doritos. Kids love color.
Okay, so Dr. Washington, Marion and I are going to do a 30-day trial on this. Marion, you game for this?
Look at her.
Okay, so
that's why family members. See,
we gonna say something. But wait a minute, Dr. Washington, Sarita, did you get your hair done?
Yes, I did.
I thought you told us last week that you weren't going to do your hair unless it was Jay-Z, but we got RapperMD in the house. So did you?
I got confused. But you know what? I mean, I have so much respect for RapperMD. It's okay because you know that's my sister in the struggle, and I appreciated her words and what she. There you go. But what she didn't say was her work in the community because she works with Shape Community Center.
Okay.
And you know we've talked about co-ops and stuff like that, and so not only is she doing it in the medical community, she's also doing it on the streets with the people. And I appreciate that. So RapperMD, my hair was worth it.
I love it.
That's my shake. That's my Beyonce shake for you.
All right.
I'm inspired now. She got her hair fixed for me.
Yes, the RapperMD, not JC.
And you know what? With that good nutrients, you can make that hair shine. When women want to know why their hair is falling out, stop eating that crap.
Okay. All right, BJ, what say you? You have a question?
I do. Dr. Washington, it's a pleasure to meet you. I want to say that first. The second thing is I'd like to cancel my reservation for your chair.
Oh, you do?
I want to cancel that reservation.
How are you going to make that happen? Talk to me. How you going to make that happen? I may have to join
Cindy and Marion.
Marion said she wasn't going to do it.
Oh, that's okay. Marion has her own unit. She got plenty of chairs. How you going to do it, DJ? I ain't worried about Marion. As we say, I only can help you when you help yourself. If you don't want to help yourself, I got to move on to the ones who want my help. So I'll always be here for you, Marion. Next. Come on, DJ.
Okay. Well, my question is, many people, particularly people of color, experience stress every day. And oftentimes it's due to situations that they have little or no control over. So what can they do to reduce the harmful effects of stress?
I told you my dad's poem about boxing. You're going to get hit. That's just life. I don't know. You better do something to get rid of that. So do something constructive, positive. Drop down and give me 20. I mean, one time my friend was saying, no, you laugh, but one time my friend had called me and she was like, oh man, I'm just so anxious. And I said, drop down and give me 20 and call me back when you get through.
Uh-huh.
She called me back. She said, I forgot what I was calling you about.
So you gave her, that's right.
But my point was, it was a healthy distraction. You're right. We are living here in America. We will always have stress till the day we die. Okay, that's why we have our culture. That's why we have our music. That's why we get together for food. So food is important. So when you have those gatherings, bring something healthy. You're not going to change everybody right away. It took me 10 years to change a coworker. 10. I used to come down there and they would invite me for Christmas and holidays because it is about family. And one time I ran over there because they had some fresh okra. Now, in my mind, fresh okra.
Yeah.
When I went over to the house, you know what that person murdered that okra. They murdered it with shrimp, some sausage. Now, I didn't see any vegetables in it whatsoever, and oil. Wow. And I'm like, I drove all the way down here for some fresh okra, and you beat it. I said, you murdered it. Next time, when you give me some fresh okra, keep it alone. Now, that may sound all good to you guys, but they murdered the okra. And 10 years later, because of all of their illnesses, because everybody else, 10 years later, I can say, hey, I went there 2 years ago prior to COVID and actually for a Christmas gathering. And you know what? I was actually able to eat their food. You know why? They actually had collard greens with no pork in it. Just seasoned with the onions, different kinds of onions and pepper. They actually had some macaroni and cheese, some bean casserole celery. It was that bean. Help me out here. Bean casserole. What you do for
3 bean salad?
Green bean casserole, and they didn't put any of that breadcrumbs on it. They had a huge salad with spinach, mind you. And I'm like, I looked at the stove and I'm like, I actually can eat here. And I said, what happened? I've been knowing you guys for a long time. What happened? And the answer was, all of us got diabetes and hypertension, and our doctors told us that we need to eat differently. So, you want to wait 10 years?
No, I think I don't even know if I have 10 years to go. You know, I'm getting up there. So I want to preserve everything that I can. So I'm going to do this test.
It's trained. It's the trained taste buds. And I'm telling you, when you start eating like this and you learn how to cook, we learn how to season it. It's important. Like I said, the dead animal is dead. It don't have no smell. The only one that got excited, I told you, was my dog. He's a wolf.
Oh my gosh.
All right. That's the generation. Well, we're human.
But listen, all of us on the program are busy, including you. Now,
exactly.
if I didn't know any
Didn't
better.
answer Maria's question about the batch. She said time consuming. Okay,
Yeah,
I told you before. I was smart, Alec. I said everything important to you, you make time for, which is a true statement.
Okay.
But yeah, you're right. So guess what? You're right. We are busy. So you plan ahead. Don't you plan to pack something before a trip?
Yeah.
Well, you plan your meals.
True.
You plan, if you're going to do, what's your favorite starch? Potatoes, rice, beans. I mean,
Rice.
okay. So you pick a day where there's a day that you have relatively free time where you can watch the rice, and then you boil you a nice pot of rice or use that rice cooker and make you rice, but make it bland because you want to be able to use it for different meals. Or if you want to take some rice and season it with some vegetables, some corn, peas, add some of your cumin, turmeric, then you have your separate thing of rice that's seasoned. So you have that prepared for you, right? Then you take some other stuff, something else you could do. They call it batch cooking. In my day, we call it cooking from scratch.
Okay.
So you make when you cook a lot. You cook for a family of 5 or 6, and then you freeze some of these things. They have things that you can freeze that is not made out of plastic. Okay, because people worry about plastic and the BPA products and everything. So you're right, it is a lifestyle, Cindy. So you get stuff that's out of plastic and then put your stuff in there. So you cook fresh for 2 or 3 days, and during that cooking period, you freeze some items.
Okay.
So say you cook something on, let's just pick Sunday, rice, some beans, some mixed vegetables, maybe some corn on the cob. What's in season? Remember, you gotta do what's in season too, right? Some what's in season now? All the root vegetables are all in season, right? The different type of sweet potatoes, the regular potatoes. You said you like rice, and there's different types of rice. Then you got to get you some vegetables, color, everything with color. Some green, some purple, some orange. You just name the vegetable, add that color in there, and have that ready. Don't forget your spices. You have to learn how to do your spices. Now, whether you're going to steam the vegetable, whether you're going to put it in the oven, or whether you're going to do it soft, have enough. And what you freeze, the fresh part you eat Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. By Wednesday, you pull out what you froze so it can thaw out. And then that gets you
to the next
Thursday, Friday, Saturday to the next bulk. But you have to do some planning ahead of time, because if you don't, you're going to get caught.
Okay. A lot of doctors, when they put patients on diets, okay, they tell them
they
to
don't
eat
know
a
what they're
lot
talking about. Oh, I'm sorry.
Girl, them your colleagues, girl. Okay. Okay. So they put them on meat, believe it or not. They put it on, they put them on meat and vegetables.
I know.
And it seems to work for some people. Why is that not recommended by you?
There's no studies that I've seen in the last 5 to 6 years, and the studies that's shown that any of these diseases that Maria asked me to mention is cured with meat.
Okay. Okay.
Are you aware of any? Because I haven't seen any. Not a single study that says that I can cure somebody's diabetes by letting them eat meat. But there are studies that show that I can cure the diabetes if they do plant-based.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just a simple fact. People's like, well, where's the this? It's my colleagues. Where's the data? We're science. We practice science evidence-based medicine. Da, 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 da. I'm like, that's a bunch of words to scare people who don't know science. I know science. Science means to know. I have a biochem degree in undergrad. Biochemistry is nutrition. Biochemistry is where you learn all about how you break down proteins into the amino acids. Biochemistry is how you learn about the different vitamins and how you learn about the different lipids and stuff. So fats are not bad. Get a bad rap. Sugars is not bad. They don't get a bad rap. It's the different types of sugars. It's a melody. Okay. So when some of my colleagues tell people, most of my colleagues I've been exposed to, they don't even know how to tell people how to prepare the meal.
Well, and a lot of them are meat eaters.
And they make a big general statement. Don't eat grapefruit. Grapefruit. I have patients that have a grapefruit tree. Why I'm going to tell them not to eat their grapefruit?
Even if they're on dialysis as well?
If they're on dialysis and they're doing a plant-based diet, they don't have to worry about their potassium, because you can change the potassium bath.
And that has nothing to do with the medications that they're taking?
The medications, if they do the grapefruit, I just find out when they take the medicines. Now, if my patients take their medicines in the morning, and guess what? The grapefruit can be part of our recipe that we're going to create for a dessert.
Okay.
I try to be practical. I mean, if you have a grapefruit tree, I'm not going to tell you not to eat no grapefruit. That's stupid. Or if you have, I shouldn't say that's stupid. That's a harsh word. It makes no sense. Okay. So if I have clients that actually are having fruit trees and plant trees, I have to work with what they have. So just find out where the medicines are. I have patients that are on Coumadin, and you have doctors make blanket statement, don't eat green leafy vegetables. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
The studies show that the green leafy vegetable is going to cut down the TMAO, which is going to cause the inflammation to block up their artery to begin with, not your Coumadin.
Yeah.
Your Coumadin doesn't reverse the clot. Your Coumadin keeps it from extending. There's nothing that says Coumadin is rat poison. So I'm gonna tell my patient not to eat green leafy vegetables because they on Coumadin. It makes no sense. So not to eat no grapefruit, but to take these medicines like transplant medications. Take the sacrolimus, take the prednisone, take the Cellcept, but don't eat no grapefruit. When all those medications I just mentioned, one can cause new induced diabetes, right? The prednisone can cause diabetes. The tacrolimus can cause diabetes because it destroys the pancreas islet cells, and it causes hyperlipidemia and hypertension. But tell them not to eat the grapefruit. Does grapefruit cause hypertension?
Yeah.
Does grapefruit and these medicines can also cause cancer? Does grapefruit cause cancer?
Girl, we got to have you back because you own it
no
live
sense.
at 5.
But wait. I just got a text message from Marion because she's having some technical difficulties, as you can see, but she wanted me to ask you, Dr. Washington.
Yes,
in episode 10, we talked about the lack of representation of minorities in the healthcare profession, specifically African American, Latino, and Native Americans. So what do you think is the most important thing to know for those considering healthcare careers in underserved communities?
That's a biggie, because in underserved communities, that means you're going to need more passion. That's going to be more passion to drive you there as opposed to payment, because a lot of them are going to be not having private insurances. They're not going to be able to pay you for your services and all the services that you are able to offer, because at the end of the day, it is a business, right, Sarita? So it is a business.
I think you're listening to me too much, Doc.
Yeah, your you may work for free. You may write out some of your services, but I guarantee you that medical assistant, she needs that paycheck.
That's right. That's
your
right.
Your billing assistant needs that paycheck. Your dietitian that you have, I have nutritionists, they want that paycheck. They're not doing it for free. They have children to feed. So if you're going to go into the underserved communities, don't expect to make a huge income. Be there because you really want to make a difference. And I can tell you, there are new doctors that are coming out that do more lifestyle type change, so that we really do a cure. And my passion and people working in underserved community is that I wanted to get to the root cause. I wanted to prevent the disease. Not just continue to manage it with drugs. I'm a legalized drug pusher, right?
Well, that's what they say about y'all. They said that about y'all.
Drug pusher. I got a Texas license, a medical license. I got a Texas license, a DEA number, and a medical license too. Do you want the pill purple, pink, yellow? Do you want a square, rectangular, or oblong? Do you want to take the drug 3 times a day, 4 times a day? Do you want it in a topical cream or in a liquid form?
All right.
Legalized drug pusher, baby.
All right. Okay. So as my favorite pastor would say, did not our hearts burn, y'all? Okay. That's what they say in the church. Serena, you don't have to comment because you've been disfellowship. Okay.
Well, I was just gonna say they're gonna catch it on the way home, as my favorite pastor would say.
Okay. So, Dr. Washington, what suggestions do you have for listeners that don't live in the Houston area, and how can they contact you and see you face to face for a session?
I do virtual visits.
Okay.
You go on my website, marywashingtonmd.com or rappermd.com. We'll take you to the homepage. So I do virtual visits and face-to-face visits. But most insurance plans do not pay for the nutritional part, because let's face it, come on, your Blue Cross Blue Shield is not going to pay for Dr. Washington to find out where you go grocery shopping at. Go grocery shopping when you prepare the food. I mean, just come on, let's be common sense.
Well, we got to connect with the websites, because you can provide some recipes with the different websites and stuff, so people can come on and get it free who can't afford it.
I do. There is a few freebie recipes on there, but again, I don't do a lot of recipes online because just like medications, not everybody's diabetes is the same. So even though there's insulin, Victoza, glipizide. I mean, I don't just put them up there for them to get. So it really is customized. Now I do some general. I mean, if you want to do some recipes for certain things, we can do. I can make a special thing for you, Miss Barkley, for Kicking It with Kidneys, with the Kicking It with Kidneys crew. But I personally do not have a group of recipes that I put up there, like for gout or for hypertension because food is not a pill. Yeah. It's a symphony of many things. I have a refrigerator magnet. I don't have it with me right now that I have up there that I keep it. Did you eat your colors today? All right. You eat with variety, you eat with color, and whatever you do, you need to drink your water. So it helps. It's a fun magnet. It has my little avatar up there. Where's the avatar up there? So they kept the kids remember that they eat all their colors today. You eat what's in season. So food is not like your pills. You have gout, and then all of a sudden I gotta eat blood cherries, or I have trouble sleeping, so all of a sudden I'm going to take chamomile. It doesn't work that way. It is a lifestyle. I do find out. I meet you where you are. I find out what's in your pantry. Find out what kind of cooking skills you have. People these days don't even know how to cut an onion. I'm sorry, they don't have cooking skills. Some people literally do not know how to use a knife without chopping off their fingers. It's like this when you slice. Did you know that, Maria?
But look who's back. Marion is back. Marion, is there anything you want to say to Dr. Washington?
I thought she went up to her dialysis unit.
Huh?
Yes, I thought she went up to her chair.
She's in the dialysis unit. What were you saying, Marion?
I was just saying thank you. It's such good information. Thank you.
Yes.
You're quite welcome. So but that's what it is. It's the website. We do virtual visits, but it's very customized because just like with your illness, I need to meet you where you are. I need to find out what your resources are, and we make it work. Because at the end of the day, I'm just here to assist you.
Yes.
I'm not here to it's not the old school. The old way we used to train, traditional nephrology, we as the doctors would tell the patients what to do. Either they followed the advice or they didn't. We get frustrated and label that they're non-compliant.
Yeah.
Because you just make these statements out of nowhere. Like I said, don't eat green leafy vegetables when you're taking Coumadin. We just make these blanket statements. Now, some of our advice is good, but if you don't follow our advice, you become non-compliant. And we're humans too. I know I talk a lot of trash, but I was born on this planet just like y'all. Came through my mother screaming and naked.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. And going to leave dying and naked. Okay. So we have feelings too. It gets frustrating. And it really hurt. It really hurt that all I was doing was just putting the people on dialysis and wasn't doing nothing. Here they are looking at me because I do look like them. Yo puedo hablar español también. And la única cosa que yo puedo ofrecer es una máquina. I mean, that's sad. It did something to me.
Yeah. Well, I can see, and I guess our panelists can see how passionate you are about this. And like I said, I'm gonna Marion told me no, but I think I'm gonna ask BJ if she do a 30-day test with me to see how this works out. And
you can just try 2 weeks. I don't try for extremes. Just tell me what you can do. 30 days may seem a lot like a people.
2 weeks I can do.
See, I told you meet people where they are.
Okay, so everybody
has had a struggle, so most people know what it takes to make a change, because everybody here, as you say, has had stresses.
You gotta want to do it. You gotta want to do it. So our final thoughts from our panelists, BJ.
Well, from this episode, I learned change starts with me.
Okay, all right, Rita.
I've learned so much. I was taking little notes about the spices and everything else, but I know that you can't control what goes on outside, but I can control what goes on inside of me.
All right. Maria.
Time is not an excuse. Learn that today, Dr. Washington. You make time for things that you want to do, and you just got to do it. There's no real rhyme or reason. You just have to do it.
All right, Marion.
She said thank you.
I learned from the bee. I really want to thank RapperMD.
I love it. I love it. Okay, we're going to put you on a road, Marion. All right, Sarita.
So today, I'm thinking about a special tribute to our special guest today. And so in that, I'm thinking about John Henry Clark, who wrote African World Revolution, Africans at the Crossroads. So we know America has its problems, but out of America came apartheid, meaning separate but equal. So today I'm going to use a slogan from South Africa, Aluta Continua, meaning the struggle continues. And so to my brothers and sisters of the diaspora in Haiti and Cuba, keep fighting, because as Martin Luther King said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We're caught up in an inescapable network of mutuality tied to a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly.
Sarita, that was so beautiful. You almost brought tears to my eyes. No wonder you got your hair done.
Do you need a tissue?
That was just beautiful.
I can bring you a tissue.
I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be all right. Dr. Washington, what are your last thoughts or your last words?
I want people to really realize that they have the power within themselves to make a change. And reflect back on when you've had difficulties before. You've made some successes. Not everybody's a failure, okay? You have things in your life that you have done and you have accomplished. So reflect back on that. Look at the tools that you use to get over that and then apply it to your health. Because you don't have to be a diabetic or hypertensive, at least a type 2 diabetic or hypertensive. You don't have to be obese. You don't have to be unhealthy. You have the power to take back control of your own health. Believe in yourself and do it.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. And we're going to be asking you back after BJ and I do this test, maybe in about a month or so, to tell you what progress we've made. Okay. Remember, you guys, log on to Mary Washington or
MD.
RapperMD. Okay. All right. So we hope.
Wait a minute. Do y'all see Sarita with the French fries? Miss Cindy, do you see Sarita with the French fries? Do y'all see Sarita with the French fries?
Well, at least RapperMD is okay.
They said portobello mushrooms. That didn't tickle my fancy, so I sent out for some hot fries.
Well, she said change was gradual.
It is. It's slow over here.
Okay. All right. So we hope.
That's the one that ate the donut too. Kept going for the donuts with her card.
That's right. Got my card laminated for free at Office Depot too. Okay.
So we hope that you have enjoyed the show, and we look forward to you joining us next week on Kickin It With Kidneys.
Well, that's it for today. Thank you for listening to Kickin It With Kidneys with your host, Cindy Barclay. See you next week. The views expressed on this podcast are educational and opinion-based. These are not medical doctors.
Be sure to catch us on social media on our website, KickinItWithKidneys.com, also on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.